I'm going to try to be very succinct here. There's a lot of opinions that are flying around right now. I'm going to give my opinion, which isn't any better than anyone else's opinion. But what I've been seeing a lot of all week on gaming websites in particular is people telling other people not to play a video game because they believe that the creator has hateful views and wants trans people murdered. I've actually seen a lot of people claiming this, claiming that J.K. Rowling actually wants people murdered, and kind of using that to tell other people, to order other people not to play a game. First of all, nobody has any right to tell anyone else what they're allowed to play, or watch, or read. A lot of people grew up with Harry Potter, and they're really looking forward to this game. It's very nostalgic for a lot of people, myself included. But I've gotten a lot more interested in actually playing it because of all the hoopla, whereas before I kind of, wasn't really paying that much attention. But now I am, so mission accomplished. I mean, the people that are boycotting it have, had the exact opposite effect because they've drawn a lot more attention to the game.
Hogwarts Legacy, 580,000 people. Look at that. Holy fuck, man. Jesus. And that's only pre-orders? Yeah, it's just more and more people playing the game. Game releases on Friday. Exactly. Did it a great job of the boycott? I can see that.
You can boycott if you want to. But, like I said, a lot of people were really looking forward to this game. And we don't just ban things that we don't like here in the United States because we are not run by Chairman Mao. My little buddy is here to say hi. Hello, buddy. What's up? Look how hateful this cat is. He's so hateful. What do you think about Hogwarts Legacy? Do you like Hogwarts Legacy? Well, Xander is not speaking out against Hogwarts Legacy, so it's safe to say that he's very hateful. So if we're really not going to play, read, or watch things because one of the people involved has personal beliefs that we don't personally approve of, well, then we won't be able to play, read, or watch anything after a while, because literally everything that we consume or are a fan of has had people involved with it that might have views that we don't personally agree with. But yeah, after a while, if you keep this up, you're not going to have any media left. It's all going to be gone. Everything will be forbidden because everything's got that little element of being problematic, so it's got to go. And this is where I say that we need to be able to separate the art from the artist and judge the art on its own merits, despite the despicable actions of the artist. But if I said that, it would be a total cop-out, because I don't think the artist is actually despicable in this case. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. It's important for me to note, okay? It's important for me to note that if someone actually is a hateful bigot or a hateful transphobe, I would be one of the first in line to say that that person isn't cool. J.K. Rowling's only crime in this case was standing up for women and rape victims. A few times in the past, she's made arguments that people with a penis are men and should not be allowed into female-only spaces, where women might be put in danger in some way by the presence of these men with penises. She also argued that another woman shouldn't have lost her job for saying similar things. And these were the things that brought people's rage down against this woman. That she was standing up for other women being safer in women-only spaces. That is why people hate J.K. Rowling. Right. I don't know everything she's ever said, and I'm sure she said things I don't agree with, things I wouldn't personally say. I haven't seen any indication whatsoever that J.K. Rowling hates anybody or wants anybody killed. I'm not going to go back through her entire social media history so I can judge her on it. I don't really care what she has to say about very many things, actually. Like I said, I'm sure she said things that I don't agree with. But all I can focus on is what she had to say recently that really put her in the crosshairs right before this game released. The latest brouhaha that caused such a fuss was that J.K. Rowling argued on behalf of women in a Scottish prison who are being locked up with a male rapist with a penis. This guy right here. This is a male rapist with a penis. This guy right here. That is a man. That's a man with a penis who is a serial rapist. And Scottish authorities were willing to put him in jail with women, and J.K. Rowling stood up for those women and said, hey, why are you putting this guy in a jail with women when he's a serial rapist and he has a penis and he clearly isn't female? There needs to be some common sense applied. And like I said, I've been defending people my entire life. I've been defending trans people since before it was cool. Okay? I've been defending a lot of people since before it was cool to defend them. And I still say that we need to have some common sense about how we do things. This is a guy who is exploiting the system. He's exploiting the kindness of Scottish authorities to kowtow to his identity. And he's exploiting that so that he can victimize more women. If we were talking about an actual transgender person who switched genders and looks female now, and you want to argue that they shouldn't go in a male prison, I actually agree. I agree completely. They'd almost certainly get badly hurt. If they look like a woman, they have, female parts, and you put them in with a bunch of dudes, they're going to get hurt. We shouldn't do that. But like I said, we have to apply common sense. When you let people go into the prison they want to go to based on what they identify as, you open Pandora's box, to say the least. It's one thing if someone actually changes genders. It's another thing if you can just merely identify as whatever you want on that particular day. And the authorities have to bend to the whims of your identity. That is completely open to exploitation by scumbags like this guy. He's exploiting the justice system so that he can be in a position to hurt more women. This is happening in the UK, it's happening in California, it's happening in New Jersey. It's fucked up. If you care about women, it's fucked up. Spotlighting incidents like this, like J.K. Rowling does, is not the same thing as calling for genocide of a group of people. She has never done that. This week I learned that the Free Hat episode of South Park was actually a documentary.
And thanks to the bravery of this young man in particular, Hat McCullough is finally free from prison.
What? Thank you, everyone. Kill the innocent! I'm so thankful for all your support. Rape the virgin! And I just wonder if I could get a baby real quick?
Sure, give that man a baby.
People are relentlessly bad-mouthing this woman and bad-mouthing a game that she has very little to do with, that a lot of people worked very hard to produce. A lot of love went into this game. And people are bad-mouthing the game and bad-mouthing this woman because she stood up for women. Now, imagine if a woman that you care about, maybe your sister, let's say your sister goes to prison for tax evasion or something stupid like that. And then you find out that this serial rapist is going to be her cellmate. How would you feel? How would you feel? You. See, it's a little different when it's someone that you care about. The sad thing is that J.K. Rowling is actually ultra progressive. Ultra progressive. She's probably more progressive than I am. I'm pretty liberal. I haven't moved in the last 10 years. I've been the same guy for the past 10 years. But there's a lot of other people that have shifted, so I'm no longer in their camp because they've shifted, but I'm still the same guy. Let's try to cut this woman some slack for stating what should be an obvious truth And even if you don't think so, maybe acknowledge that she's entitled to her opinion. She might have some really offensive views in some cases that I'm not aware of, but they're her views, and she's allowed to have them. I'm not a mind reader, and I don't spend all my time on social media keeping track of everything that famous people think. All I've got to go by is reading her recent statements that invited backlash. And in this particular case, I can't find anything particularly offensive about trying to protect women who are in prison. I hope the game does well. Almost everyone I know seems to be playing it, so I guess it is doing well. And maybe let's save the moral panic for situations that actually call for it. And for fuck's sake, let's not put male rapists into women's prison just because they found a way to exploit a system designed to protect people who aren't total liars. But yeah, the backlash over this game has been insane. Absolutely ridiculous, ludicrous, and insane. Resetera, is that what it's called? Resetera? Resetera actually messed with one of the guys at Digital Foundry at his own house because they didn't want him to review the game. And he wasn't even planning to review the game. Anyway, because he doesn't like Harry Potter. They were actually like harassing him at his own home. Like, what is this? They're harassing streamers because they're playing a game.
The reason this boycott turned nasty is because prominent internet activists made you believe trans people's livelihoods were at stake because a lot of people wanted to play a video game. They made you believe that purchasing it was a political statement that expressed callous disregard for a minority group's well-being. They did this because they wanted yet another manufactured excuse to pat themselves on the back, and misrepresentation and exaggeration are the only tools they have. They're addicted to making mountains out of molehills. For some of them, it's their job. Never forget that. Outrage is an endless revenue stream, and business can boom whenever they need it to.
This really brought my least favorite people out of the woodwork. The set of people who won't stop trying to police other people's thoughts, who spend all their time talking about imagined slights and imagined crimes, imagined ists, imagined phobias, constantly looking for new dragons to slay because they're just that self-important as to see themselves as the hero at all times. The people who complain about bullies and every single little slight they experience while calling other people incels and calling for bullying campaigns against people who don't meet their ideological purity tests, completely certain of their own moral infallibility, compared to the disgusting deplorables who don't fully and completely adhere to their dogma. People like me, who could be an ally. And one more thing. If you think that Harry Potter is anti-Semitic, because when you look at goblin bankers, your mind immediately goes to Jewish people, the problem might not be Harry Potter, it might be you. Thank you for listening, especially if you don't agree. And hopefully I gave you some food for thought. And like I said, my opinion is not any better than anyone else's. I'm just giving it. And one more thing. Only losers join Hufflepuff. Slytherin for life. More like Fucklepuff.